Hey everybody, I wanted to do a little video to explain about the mice. So we talk about the mice a lot, or at least I feel like we talk about them a lot. The reason that we use mice is because we can't go straight to children. The FDA requires you to use some kind of intermediate experiment to show that what you're doing is a proof of concept that it works. So our mice are produced at Jackson Labs, and they had to create a mouse that is sick like our kids. And so they created actually 3 different mice. The first one was what's called a knockout mouse, and so it has a deletion on both sides. So kids with MSD have a mutation that they get from their mother and from their father. And so Willow actually has a mutation she gets, and then she has a deletion on one side. The mouse, the knockout mouse, has a deletion on both sides. So it's a very severe mouse, and actually doesn't live very long. It only lives like 7 days. And then they had to create a mouse that was more like the kids that had mutations. And so this is a huge project and a huge undertaking, mice in general, you know, trying to make a model of your disease in an animal that didn't have it already. They use CRISPR, they use a lot of the technology that's amazing now. But they made what's called a knock-in mouse next. And so they picked 2 mutations and they made those on each side and made this mouse. So they did that, and what happens a lot of the time is they try to do that for some of these diseases and it doesn't phenotype correctly, which means it doesn't display symptoms. So sometimes you can actually change the genome, but it still doesn't show disease progression like a child would. So like, you know, they may run around and walk and be normal weight and be just a normal mouse. And so we were really excited that the mice did show phenotype. They did decrease in weight, and they had all of the features of the child. And the reason that that's important is because when we provide a treatment, when we do an experiment and do a treatment, we have to see improvement. So we have to see the rescuing of the symptoms and the symptoms getting better. So that was like a huge accomplishment that's just getting finished, and it'll be published, I think, at the end of this year, early next year. They made those knock-in mice, so we're super excited about that. That just gets us one step further, you know, towards our cure.